All right. So our first speaker will be George Wu, who at that time was a community person from Chinatown. George.
During the 60s, I started working with youth gangs in Chinatown, and San Francisco State students come in and ask for community support for the strikes. And I supported it, and that's how I got involved. And I always view students as part of the community. I don't understand this artificial delineation that once you become a student, community seems to be far, something else beyond you. You are part of the community. You go to community every day, you interact with people in community every day. So one of the real community support comes from is through the connection of the student. Beyond that, I want to bring you pretty quickly, if you have not attended the past workshops. In the 60s, you had tremendous amount of activities going on in the United States, namely the civil rights movement, the anti-war movement, and of course the Black Power movement, in which Black Panther Party was main part of it, on which the San Francisco strike is connected with it. But also the government in 1964 passed the Economic Opportunity Act, and throughout the years have pumped money into the poverty-stricken area to organize poor people for what they call maximum feasible participation of the political structure. So in that sense, most of the community in San Francisco, particularly the community we were concerned with, the low-income community were well-structured, people well-identified, and that includes Chinatown. And of course, the anti-war movement come about because you have a lot of students in all the college and university who really didn't want to be students. But student deferment was one of the ways to prevent them getting killed. Of course, American youth subsequently spread to all American question whether or not we should stop the war in Southeast Asia. Why are we there killing them and be killing them? So that's the background. So for community support, it's actually pretty easy because education is always one of the issues in our community. So I will speak specifically about the Chinese community. I got involved through the gang work because trying to organize them to get people to be aware of, to get people to get help, to give them job training. That's education. And I also remember one of the young men tagged along, always wanted to help, and I asked him, why are you hanging around? You dress neatly, you speak good English, you don't have any problem. He said, I want to help. I said, well, stop hanging around with the gangs and go back to college. And that was Fred Lau, who subsequently became chief of police in San Francisco. And I don't know how you feel about the police, but I do think the police have changed because the strike affected a lot of people who ultimately serve in the police department. So our job basically is to go in the community and try to identify groups and leaders and talk to them, ask for help. To my surprise, that was very easy. And we have institutions like Camden House, people, white MCA people, they're all willing to help. In fact, Alan Long, the director of YMCA, was the one that running the school all the time and demonstrated with us. And Larry Jack Ong from Camden House, also a big supporter. And all this really established our community support. And the next task was to try to deal with the conservative element of the community. As you know, most of the immigrant community are relatively conservative. their concern is to make a living, to fulfill their American dream. So we spend a lot of time and went to groups, organizations, and speak to them. I just want to highlight one particular interesting group. People thought that was really, really a coup during the strike. There's a Economic Opportunity Council developed under the flag of EOC, and it was dominated by majority of the conservative organization in Chinatown, namely the family associations and Chinese 6 company. I think a board of 12, they have 7 seats. So we went, I remember one evening we went there to one of the regular meeting and asked them on record to support the San Francisco State Strike and support the 15 demands. And we were pretty much had a bad time with them because they really didn't think we ought to do that until almost at the end, their leader come up and really chewed me out for raising hell too much in the community. And his last sentence was that, why are you people doing all this when I can't even get my grandchild into San Francisco State? Then I stood up and said, we are fighting exactly for that issue. We're fighting to get your kids, your grandkids into school. Did you see the one of the demand? He looked at it and he raised his hand and said, I support it. And then the organization went on record and support the strike. So that's the kind of work we do. But in general, I recall organizations like church organizations like Ecumenical Houses were tremendous support of the strike. And later on, of course, we had the union come in to support it, and that really is something we need to pay some attention to. And of course, when we talk about community support, we really are not talking just about the minority community. Actually, the predominantly white community also had quite large support. I think mainly because the issue was right, the time was right, because people raised questions why we have such tremendous, supposedly great country, yet we have so many poor people, we have so many powerless people, and of course, why are we engaged in the war in Southeast Vietnam? So we need to pay homage to all those other communities. People quite erroneously think that it was only the third world community come and support the strike. I think it's pretty much the San Francisco effort. And I have to say that what I feel very good about accomplishment was that in the Chinese community, that I was astounded to find there was really no opposition to the strike. There are very passive support, but there are also a lot of active support. So I'm sure that they happen in most other communities as well. So in conclusion, I just want to say that we are on the right time with the right issue, and it just being very inclusive about it. And what I learned from that was that we need to coalesce all the people who are concerned with the issue, regardless their value, their political point of view, that we just work on issues that we can get people together and get things done. Thank you.